Thank you very much, Mithali, for giving us a snapshot of LIC's Q1 updates that have come in. And ladies and gentlemen, we have some breaking inputs that are coming in. And this one is on RBI releasing a list of upper layer NBFCs for FY27. In fact, this list, which has been released by RBI, also includes Tata Sons as well. In fact, RBI has said the Tata Sons deregistration application is under examination. What are the implications of that? My colleague Anurag Joshi is getting us more details on this breaking story. Anurag, what are your sources saying, and what exactly does this disclosure by RBI with respect to upper layer NBFCs and Tata Sons getting included in that list mean?
The latest list of the RBI's upper layer NBFCs includes Tata Sons. Tata Sons remains in the upper layer non-banking financial company list of RBI as a core investment company. The RBI released the list today, and it has said that Tata Sons' application for deregistration as a core investment company remains under examination. In the list of upper layer NBFCs for FY27, there are 19 names, and this includes Tata Sons and another Tata company, Tata Capital, which last year listed its shares. Tata Sons had a deadline until September 30 last year to list its shares, but it had missed the deadline. And in 2024, to give you a background, Tata Sons had approached the RBI with an application to deregister as a core investment company, which would bolster its case to seek a waiver as an upper layer NBFC. The moot issue or point of contention over here is that Tata Sons is made efforts. It has sought to remain an unlisted company. And as an upper layer NBFC, the list was first released in September 2022. All upper layer NBFCs need to list their shares. In 2022, RBI had given a 3-year time frame to upper layer NBFCs, which Tata Sons had missed. So in this particular case, there are 19 names, and this also includes 2 NBFCs, which were there in the previous list, but in the current exercise, they don't meet the criteria of upper layer NBFCs, but because they need to be there for a period of 5 years, they are included, which is PNB, Housing Finance, and Sammaan.
Thank you very much for joining us with that update, Anurag. But meanwhile, we're also being joined by H.P. Ranina, Senior Advocate at the Supreme Court. Thank you so much for joining us, sir, on the broadcast today. Just to get your take on the update itself, Tata Sons being included in that upper layer NBFC, how are investors likely to view this? Is it going to be merely another procedural step, or is this perhaps a case of regulatory uncertainty? If you could just give us your take on how this will be perceived by the market.
I think it will be regulatory uncertainty to some extent until they actually, make an announcement. So what I think is that they're still looking into the matter. They say they are under examination. Examination means that obviously they're looking at all the facts, studying the details, and thereafter coming to a decision. And therefore, as I see, there will be a degree of uncertainty for the next few weeks until the matter becomes clear.
Right, sir. Mr. Ranina, this is Sumita here. I also want to get in your thoughts on the fact that is the RBI taking an unusually cautious approach in Tata Sons' case because of the group's systemic importance?
I think they're taking an approach which they want to show to be fair, reasonable, and transparent. So as the governor said the other day, it will be a principled approval. So they will go by the principles involved. Now, there are many issues which they will have to consider. What is the value of the shares? What is the value to be taken? Is it the value to be taken at a time when they invested the money in the group companies? Is it the present market value? How do you determine the value to arrive at the figure of 1 lakh crore? So all this will be taken into account. They will look into all the issues and then come to a fair and objective decision.
Right, Mr. Ranina. I just also want to ask you, what do you think stakeholders should be looking out for in the immediate future? And could this classification change if the RBI actually goes about approving Tata Sons' application?
Well, if they approve Tata Sons application, it would be as per their extant guidelines. So they say that we'll take a principal approval which will apply to every other company similarly placed, and therefore they will go by that. Now, as far as investors are concerned, certainly I think it will be a mega issue. It may be the mother of all IPOs. And if that happens, then obviously investors would be very happy to participate in this issue. So naturally, investors are looking at it with great enthusiasm.
Right, but Mr. Raina, if the deregistration request is eventually approved, would would Tata Sons still be required to pursue an IPO?
Registration of the company in the sense that deregistered as an NBFC, if that's what you mean. If it's deregistered as an NBFC, then obviously it will not have to go in for the IPO. But if it is registered as an NBFC based on the criteria of 1 lakh crore rupees asset, then obviously they will have to go for the IPO. So I think it's all to be seen how they look at the situation, what is the value they take, how they determine the values of these companies in which Tata Sons has a shareholding. All these factors will have to be taken into account.
Well, thank you so much for giving us that insight, sir. And I'd request you to stay on because we also have Ashwin Parekh, Managing Partner at Ashwin Parekh Advisory Services, joining us on the phone line. Mr. Parekh, thank you so much for joining us on the bulletin. What is the regulatory impact of this inclusion in itself, sir? If you could just break that down for us. And more importantly, what additional compliance requirements does it bring for Tata Sons going forward?
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it is basically there are two parts to it. One is, RBI, by virtue of this particular sort of circular, has clarified that on the grounds of the size of, let's say, the holdings, Tata Sons would qualify for. However, they've also at the same time saying that it is without any prejudice to the application made by Tata Sons for the deregistration of the NBFC. Now, that is the root of the whole subject. I mean, if RBI were to accept that application, made by Tata Sons to deregister themselves as NBFCs, then the question of then they're getting classified as an upper layer NBFC will not be there at all. In which case, we have a situation where Tata Sons is not an NBFC. They get deregistered as an NBFC, in which case the IPO is not mandatory at all. So I suppose more than this circular, because this particular guideline today, the bulletin today specifically mentions that this is without any prejudice to the application made by Tata Sons for the deregistration. To that extent, I would say we wait for the RBI to decide on the application rather than look at this bulletin in isolation.
Right, Mr. Parekh, it's Sumita here. Let me also ask you a question. This is essentially about, of course, this very story. Does this wording suggest that RBI is keeping all its options open, and what message does it send to investors? And that also includes big conglomerates that might be watching this case.
I don't think it should be ruled like that. I mean, I'm sure. the Reserve Bank of India would be examining, the merit of the application that Tata Sons have made. And if you look at, the entity as such and the kind of legal opinions that they would have got, before they would have applied for deregistration. It's a serious matter. It's not that, RBI would, by virtue of this, just wants to keep its position. It's examining the application for deregistration. And if they find that there is a merit in what, the case is made out, the application is made out, then if they accept the deregistration, then there's no question of then Tata Sons getting classified as an upper layer. It does not remain an NBFC at all, basically, you see. So I would just say, therefore, and since it's without prejudice, so to that extent, I think the final outcome would depend entirely on the deregistration application and the decision that the RBI makes basically on that.
Right. And Mr. Parekh, what's the timeline or the expected or projected timeline on the deregistration itself? And are there any milestones or any steps that both the investors and the market will be watching out for henceforth?
See, I mean, I would put it this way. See, applications with the regulator's office, I mean, not just the RBI. I mean, I've practiced in other jurisdictions as well. I mean, the regulator will examine the case in all aspects of it, and then they will decide. You cannot put any timeline within which the regulator must make a decision. And here, of course, clearly, I mean, by virtue of this narrative that the bank has put out, the RBI has put out, I mean, they're examining the application, basically, you see.
Mr. Parekh, I'd request you to kindly hold on, as we are also now being joined on the broadcast by Raman Agarwal, the CEO of Finance Industry Development Council, or FIDC. Mr. Agarwal, what do you think is the end game here? Is it an IPO or deregistration without listing? What exactly is the message being sent out?
Yeah, I think as an industry body, it would not be fair for me to comment majorly on that part. I can only see that, as was Mr. Parekh saying, that what RBI has clearly said is that they've issued this list of upper layer NBFCs as per the new framework they issued some time back, where they've kept a benchmark of 1 lakh crore asset size. And now, of course, in that, as per that, Tata Sons was figuring in that list. However, RBI said that they are considering the application for deregistration. So I think I would restrict my comments to that. But yes, if you want, I can. There are few other important points which come out of the list which RBI has issued. So that, if you want, I can share some views on those as an industry body.
Right, so Mr. Agarwal, just checking, if at all the deregistration does occur at some point, could this eventual deregistration now set a whole new precedent for other large investment holding companies? And is that something that the regulator and the markets at large are cognizant of, the precedents that this sets?
Well, see, I think if you talk of precedents, look at it in this list itself, there is only one company of that category. No? The rest are all other companies which are actively involved in lending. So they are all actively involved in lending business. Tata Sons obviously has been a unique case always. And that's why there is this whole issue of whether Tata Sons saying that we don't want to be an NBFC, we want to get deregistered. So I think it would be unfair to say that this is going to set some kind of a precedent. I think it's a one-off case which RBI is considering, and I think it's up to the regulator to take a call how they view this.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, we're completely out of time on this edition. Thank you very much, Mr. Ranina, Mr. Parekh, and Mr. Agarwal for joining us here on this big breaking story and helping us understand what are the implications of this move, this decision by RBI are going to be. In fact, this list of upper layer NBFCs has been released by RBI for FY27. In fact, this includes Tata Sons. In fact, RBI has said the Tata Sons deregistration application is still under examination. What is the kind of messaging that RBI is giving to the larger industry? How will it be perceived by investors? Well, those are some of the outcomes that we'll have to wait and see pan out over the next couple of days. But with that, it's a wrap on this edition of News Now. Goodbye from me and Jude, both of us. Thank you very much for tuning in.